ingredient prep for each recipe. So this is a list of 3, 6, 7, 8 bullet points to keep in mind when prepping your produce for juicing. Number 1, rinse all the ingredients as needed. If you purchase organic vegetables or vegetables, you're using vegetables that or fruit that you've grown yourself, then you know there's no wax on it and you know what it's been exposed to. So if that's not the case, then oftentimes there is wax applied to the outside of the item so that it'll look better on the shelf and be more attractive to the buyer. So what you want to do is you want to remove that wax and wash off as much as whatever's sitting on the outside of that skin as possible before juicing it. The wax over time will clog up your juicer and it will leave a white haze and film on the metal mechanism and the plastic that's in there holding the metal. So you definitely want to scrub all that off. So what I like to do is I'll fill up the sink, wash out the sink very thoroughly, fill it up with cold water, and put in about a cup of distilled white vinegar. If you think you need a little bit more or you think a little bit less, go with that. And then I put, like, for example, all the oranges and the citrus, and the lime and the lemons and the grapefruit, put them all in there and make sure they're all covered. And then let them sit for a good 20, 30 minutes, sometimes longer because they get involved in the other room, right? And forget they were even in the sink. Then when it's time, go back, rinse them off, scrub them if needed. And I like to put them on the counter on top of a towel, something to absorb the water. There's usually not a lot, but they do need to air dry for a little bit. And before you're going to store them in the fridge, you want to make sure they are really dry. So just leave them out for the afternoon or sometimes overnight. Just depends on your situation at the time. And then those items are ready to go. Oh, and if you're doing berries, whether they're organic or not, I always like to wash the berries. And again, I'll do it in a vinegar mixture, not in the sink, but I'll do it in a bowl, a glass bowl on the countertop. And it's amazing. They look so clean and stuff comes off. Same with grapes. Definitely do the little vinegar water situation with the grapes. And those I'll do in the sink. Just keep them on the stems, the cluster of grapes, and then it's easier to maneuver. Alrighty, so there we go. Let's see. Food that you're going to now prep to, you've washed it, you've dried it out, it's on the counter, you're now ready to juice, time to chop. So you want to chop everything so that it can fit in the chute of your juicer, where you're going to be feeding it into the juicer. The wonderful thing about the Nama is that the whole lid pops up so you can stick the entire item in there. Even though that happens, you still want to chop up your celery because celery is stringy and it can clog your juicer, and it always happens at the wrong moment. So I have found that if I take the whole rib of celery and I've got my ceramic knife, so I hold one end of the rib and I quickly make 3 slashes down the whole length of the rib and then come back and chop it. It's really little bits, and then I don't have a problem with it jamming. It's worth it to take the time to chop it up because then I have no problems later because my juicer is stuck. Also, the charred stems, pretty stringy, so you want to be sure to chop those up too. Let's see. All right, so when you are ready now to load your juicer, you want to make sure, we saw it in the equipment video, there was the little graphic about how to stack them for the Nama, but you want to put your greens, your leafy greens, your herbs on the bottom for sure. And then you want to add on top of that, you want to add the soft fruit. So you would add, you could do tomatoes, but you could do all your citrus. Just make sure you peel that citrus. And then you're going to load on top chopped up cucumber and the celery bits. On top of all that, you're going to add the hard stuff. So you put that on last. Kind of helps with gravity to help push that stuff through the juicer. So your beetroot and your carrots would be great on top. And again, like we saw in the equipment short video, the hopper, as it's all turning stuff around to get it juiced, all of that pretty much just, of course, gets mixed together, and that's fine. You just want to give your juicer the best chance to be happily juicing for you. So just pay attention to how you stack the food inside the juicer. All right, let's see what else. Okay, and there we go. Now you've juiced. You've turned it on. It's going. It comes out. You want to use your strainer and strain it, and then drink your juice, and it is wonderful. If it's room temp and you're like, ooh, I don't really like that room temp, then put it in one of your mason jars, fill it all the way up so that there is no air in there, put on the lid, the ring tightly, stick it in the fridge, drink it when you're done juicing everything and after you've cleaned up the kitchen. That's when you're going to need the energy boost, and that's a great time to enjoy your juice. Take care.